Hi, and welcome to my podcast, Pregnant in Japan, your podcast about pregnancy, birth, and the joy of a relaxed motherhood in Japan. My name is Vicky. I'm a German mom living in Tokyo. I'm sharing my positive birth experience to inspire you with yours. Today, I will talk about Japanese nurseries. Maybe you have to go back to work or you want to go back to work soon after your baby is born. So the good news is that the nurseries here in Japan mostly accept babies around 3 months. Although I personally think the bonding time in the first year is quite essential, but I know it's a completely personal question. First of all, the system here in Japan is a bit complicated. I spoke to a lot of Japanese parents, and even for them it seemed so confusing, and there are just so many different kind of nurseries. This is why I would like to give you just a brief overview and try to break down the information in the basic so you have a first idea of how it works in Japan. And that's also why I won't talk at all about preschools, kindergarten, and so on. I will just concentrate on nurseries in Japan. They are called hoikuyen, by the way, to make it easier. I also have to add, it's my very personal information I gathered when we looked for a nursery for our daughter. So therefore, please forgive me if there are any mistakes, or please just contact me if there's anything to add. I would like to correct any information. All right, let's go. We have in Japan private and public nurseries, which accept babies starting from 57 or 56 days after birth until mostly 3 years, sometimes 5 or 6 years. Because it's more complicated, I would like to start with the public ones. These are for parents who both work full-time. So if you, as a mom, don't work, or you work part-time, or you work as a freelancer, which freelancers, I think, here in Japan, from what I understood, are not very well integrated in the Japanese system, you can still apply for a public nursery, but depending on how many other persons will apply, the chances get lower and lower to get a spot. For example, I don't work, plus the area in Tokyo where I live, Setagaya, is probably the area in Tokyo with most families. So at the ward office, they told me it's not even worth applying. But on the other hand, there are some exceptions, like if you suffer from an illness, or if you are pregnant again, or if you or your husband, if you have to take care of an elderly relative, or if you are a single parent family, then you have a higher chance to get a spot, because the way they work is they select by a point system. So you get more points if you are, a single mom, for example. Okay, next. The application deadline for public nurseries is always at the end of November, and the start of the academic year of the nursery is always in April. Theoretically, you can also apply for the following month, but this is rarely done, and I think you can also only get a spot if another kid drops out. Applying for a public nursery, be prepared for a lot of paperwork, getting papers from your company, birth certificates, and so on, and so on, and so on. The cost of a public nursery depends on the family annual income. It varies, I guess, from around 10,000 yen a month to 50,000 yen a month, but the average, I have been told, it's around 10,000 yen a month. Okay, that was a quick overview for the public nurseries. Let's go on with the private nurseries. There you can apply basically when you want, in order of the availabilities of a nursery, and it doesn't matter if the parents, or mostly the mom, if she doesn't work. Private ones can also offer, for example, holiday shifts or nights or weekend shifts. as I said, there are many different kind of nurseries. And the prices of these private nurseries are usually a lot higher. So starting from around 50,000 to 70,000 yen a month. And of course, these are the Japanese private nurseries I was talking about. So if you are looking for international ones where they speak English, the ones I have seen, they always started around 115,000 yen a month plus annual fees plus some whatever kind of fees. And of course, they also offer some kind of 1 day a week system, 2 day a week system, or afternoon or just morning care. But in the end, it still remains more expensive than private Japanese ones or even public Japanese ones. Okay, to make it now a little bit more complicated, both the public nurseries and the private nurseries can be either licensed or unlicensed. The licensed nurseries have to meet certain government standards. This could be size of the nursery, how many employees per child, and so on. And first I understood the licensed one are better than the unlicensed one. From my personal experience, because our daughter is in a semi-private nursery, yes, that also exists, and it's not licensed, I still have a feeling there are a lot of employees and they take very good care of the kids and they have flexible hours, and sometimes they seem also flexible more in general. I had the feeling, for example, they are turning a blind eye when our baby arrives with wani with buttons. Maybe you have already heard it. It can be strict in Japanese nurseries regarding the clothes. So, for example, the kids shouldn't wear hoodies, they shouldn't wear skirts, they shouldn't wear anything with button because other babies could swallow it. They are barefoot inside, so no socks. That was a quick overview for the private and public nurseries, and then licensed and non-licensed nurseries. If you really need help very quickly and you need somebody to take care of your baby, I can recommend a temporary childcare. I have seen a lot of other Japanese moms here in Tokyo using it. For example, if they are just overwhelmed with everything and they need a break for a day or a few hours. And these temporary childcares work on daily or hourly basis. So you can also leave your child there if you have to get something done, or if you're in a hospital, or if you have a doctor's appointment and nobody can take care of your baby. So this would be a quick, less complicated solution. I will also put in the show notes the link of an example of a temporary childcare. All right, I hope this was helpful for you and you have a brief idea of Japanese nurseries. I will put on my webpage a story or an example story of a Swedish mom in Tokyo who went through this whole process and who applied for a nursery for her baby. And there you can see her experience and what information she gathered. I would love to hear from you if this was helpful and if you have anything to add. Thank you.